Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals. I'm here with some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm content, and I'm just freshly back actually from the TvZ UK Masters. My goodness, it was incredible. That was a sensational event basically. It was so fun to be there, so fun to do so much of the casting. Big shout outs of course to the other casters there, Jarosar, Todd and Lurlian. It was good fun and we had some cool action, and I've actually got a replay today from two of the players who were made it through to the finals, and I'm not going to spoil anything, so I won't tell you how they did, because I know this is coming out just a couple of days after the grand finals and where it all took place. But let me get straight in and introduce these two. Up in the top left position, as the red Terran player, we do have Millennium's ForGG. And his opponent down in the lower right, playing as the blue Zerg, currently going for a little bit of an extractor trick. From Team Dignitas, it is Tefel. Now I have actually got a poster which is signed by Tefel, which is pretty cool. It's a Heart of the Swarm poster. It's going up on my wall shortly, I can assure you. And he's a really nice guy, Tefel, actually. Most of the Dig people are. Actually, all of the Dig people are cool people, so that is good news. All the Liquid guys, they're really awesome as well. ForGG, I didn't actually get to meet him, which was quite annoying. It was just because I was casting oh so much. I think I met every other player apart from him, which was a bit of a shame. But yes, Tefel, he's going quite nicely for a spawning pool first, which went down at 14. A 14 pool opening is a bit uncommon against Terran players. Usually we see a 15 hatch into a 16 pool, sometimes even hatch gas pool if they want to get out at a really quick speed. So Tefel maybe going for a bit more early aggression, perhaps expecting a command center first, which he wants to punish, because this is a relatively long map in terms of rush distances. But Tefel now just going to take him down at 16 supply, throw down his hatch, so he's a bit safer. He can also get Zerglings out a little bit quicker, but it's not something that should have a major effect on this game. In terms of the mid-game compositions and what these two like to go for, well, Tefel, I know, is a big fan of Hydras. He really likes Hydralisks, and they're really quite viable against Terran if you go Roach Hydra, especially against certain compositions. Meanwhile, if we think what he can do in the later game, Ling Bling Muta into Ultralisk has become quite popular, especially if you throw some Vipers in there as well. Blinding Cloud against tanks is so good, it's game-breakingly good, but it's difficult to get them off and hit them, so that's where it comes in. Now, we do have ForGG's taking out the unbuildable bricks, because why not, they're annoying, and the Overlord is just going to come down the side, come and check in, see that there's no gases being taken. That's really the important thing. So, one Rax into CC, double gas should follow that up. Meanwhile, for Tefel, he's still just sitting here on the spawning pool, getting up his first queen a bit earlier on, making sure that he's scaring back this SCV. He doesn't really want that coming in, being pestering, potentially chucking down a bunker or anything annoying like that. Up here now for ForGG, just waiting to see him throw it down, and of course, since neither of these players are going to do anything too exciting for at least the near future, let me just say, remember to subscribe, like the video, and leave a cool comment, because it all helps me massively, and I do put up a game a day, so make sure you check back daily, and if you subscribe you get to see them all, and it's also good to know what you guys think when you watch it, so just leave a comment, let me know what you think of the players, my casting, all of those sort of things, because if nothing else, getting some interaction with viewers is always fun. So now we've got a very economic build out of the Terran player. Double gas the command center, so 2 command centers, 1 gas. This is pretty much as economical as you can do, and Tefel, if he wants to stay ahead economically, desperately needs to take the 3rd base. He'll most likely take the one down to the left, because one up to the top right can potentially be a little bit awkward. Sending some Zerglings out for the time being, just going to go scout around, probably hold these watchtowers as well. Looks like one's running there, the second one may actually go up to the base before, but it's difficult to tell in which he prefers, but it looks like he's just going to stop at that watchtower for the time being. So all of the map control has been granted by Tefel. You can't actually see too much. If we flick over to his vision, we can see that he hasn't spotted anything really. All he knows is that there's an orbital command there, and that is it. ForGG getting up the reactor, getting up the factory, looking to be a little bit more safe, looking to really go into things more normal, probably get some Hellions out, just go for a little bit of harassment, try and just force some Lings out of the Zerg player, who's currently just injecting. Interestingly for Tefel though, he's going up to 4 queens, which is very normal, but usually when you go spawning pool first, some Zergs just will stop at 3 once they got 1 to creep spread. The advantage of 4 clearly being that actually you can force back Hellions very easily, and that is always a great benefit to many players. So ForGG is going to be going bio because he's getting up the additional barracks, waiting to see if he throws down a couple of engineering bays. Usually double engineering bay is very popular when going for this marine tank style play, because the upgrades for infantry play in so heavily, it is just incredibly important. Tefel also getting up the Roach Warren, This is so normal to see nowadays, that this Rotron absolutely essential to trying to make sure that you can push across the map well, you can hold off Hellions effectively, you can also try and do some nice little bits of damage, especially if your opponent's meching. A good group of, say, 10 roaches can do an incredibly large amount of damage very, very quickly indeed. So, for the moment, ForGG getting up his stim upgrades. He's going to keep this orbital command in his base for a while, only going the single engineering bay, which is quite surprising. So many, as I said, favour that double upgrade play, and I actually quite like double upgrades. I think they're really solid. Maybe the reason for the +1 is for some kind of timing push. It is a possibility. It is a very good possibility to go for just +1 with stim. It ties in very nice. As you can see, 160 seconds will tie up quite nicely with when stim finishes, and especially with that starport on its way down on the reactor, we should get in a position where drops can be quite potent with a lot of dead space around the main. That's something, and also around the third, I should point out as well, is something that actually ForGG could try to exploit, and someone with great micro from back in his Brood War days shouldn't find that too difficult in the slightest. So here we go, we should get double upgrades started for Tefel very shortly. Meanwhile though, these Hellions are getting a nice bit of damage, and quite a few drones are starting to go down, and this is not what you really want as a Zerg player. Not too many killed quite yet. 6 isn't a huge number, but 7 goes down. The roaches are trying to force back these Hellions to manage to escape, but getting those 7 workers means that actually now the worker count very equal. A big wave of drones now coming out, but this is in units, therefore a bit weaker if this push comes out. 5 Marines coming in at a time. We've got the starport producing medevacs, and we've also got the +1 and stim about half complete. So this is all tying together. The third base is now going to get spotted. Tefel just getting all of the information required. Sees the lift, knows he's taking the third now. The third base floating all the way over, so quite a long way to go. But that's not a huge problem because roaches aren't going to be able to come and put an end to that quite yet. We do have spore crawlers coming down though, so clearly Tefel expecting the potential of some kind of drop play. I don't believe he saw. Did he see the starport? No, he didn't. So just going that out of what he has seen. More barracks are being added on. This is such an infantry heavy play for the time being that, to be honest, the only real concern that Tefel needs to have is about drops. There's no way it can move out until a couple more tanks are in play. Holding this third could potentially also be a little bit difficult. The Overseer is going to die, and that is not at all good for Tefel. He doesn't supply blocking, but it's quite an expensive thing to lose, especially when it's not needed to be lost. So the fourth base coming out for Tefel now. He's just going to be keep out expanding his opponent, staying one base up, also getting down his infestation pit. So not going to be going for that Hydra play I thought he may, but instead he could just be taking up very quickly towards Hive. Could be going for some Swarm Host, although that's not as common. However, this map is one of the best maps to go Swarm Host against Terran, purely because you've got some Swarm Hosts here, some over here, and some here, and you can push into the natural 2 directions, and the third enemy's tank fire is slightly less effective. These roaches do not want to be going in there. Running back straight away, but a good stim forward out of ForGG means that he is forcing Tefel to pull back. Didn't take any losses there. 1-1 upgrades are on their way. Melee upgrades as well, which is what's making me think that it's probably not going to be Swarm Host, because you get the range upgrades for the Locusts. Instead, it could just be a quick tech up towards Ultras. There goes Pathogen Glands. Yeah, definitely going to be some Ultra play coming in here. Some Vipers also a possibility, but as we can see, just so much infantry already out for Millennium's ForGG. He's also getting now the +1 armor. He's got a good number of Marauders hitting the field as well, so this is going to be a very potent push, especially against the quite roach-heavy composition that is on the field for Tefel. But once we see some things like Ultras coming out, that's when things can get very hard. So double drop is queuing up now, getting ready to go, but as we can see, a big Roachling push starting to move the other side, and this is where counterattacks can become quite fun, because if Tefel were to push in now, look at how little is here to defend. This group of Roaches and Zerglings could definitely push through here. We've got 2 drops, oh my goodness, 2 double drops going down. This is going to be exceptionally difficult. There's no Overlords placed for detection, boosting through, and as we can see, this is very potent. At the same time though, the double drop coming in now to the 4th base. There's quite a few drones here. This is actually going to run into some problems. Zerglings are getting in, trying to clean it up, but the main base is where the real problem is. So many roaches on their way through. The extractor was taken out. That's going to hurt the gas tank. Meanwhile, at the other side, drones being forced to try and clean out some of this, but it's not going to be successful. The Queen, we can see here, taking a lot of damage, does get picked up. The drop in the main has been cleaned out. Both medevacs pull back, only losing 3 Marines over that side, so that is incredibly cost effective. And if we look at the loss tab, actually, over double the cost effectiveness in terms of ForGG's plays compared to Tefel. One of those medevacs moving back, the second one now moving back as well. These two just healing up, getting ready to go in probably for wave 2 should Tefel decide to move forward. More infestors are on their way out, but currently just a lot of Lings. There's no Baneling nests either as far as I'm aware, so that's very surprising, because against a lot of Marines, some Banelings would be very helpful, but a very Marauder heavy composition actually, which is why getting so many more Lings out can be beneficial. Roaches would just absolutely melt to it. The Infestors do need to be careful because they can get sniped off incredibly easily by Marauders. A couple more Spore Crawlers are coming down, just trying to deny any of this. But ForGG is maxing or equaling Tefel on Spy. But here we go, we've got the push moving in front of our eyes straight away. A lot of damage being done. Great Fungals catching nearly everything underneath him. The tank is not doing that much damage for the moment, but the Infestors do have to be very, very careful running in. But a good concave from the Dignitas player, forcing this push back, denying it with aggression, and just denying that push is great, but the drop coming down in the main is very frustrating because all of these units are quite a long way out of position. The Lings will get back first, but as we can see, the Marines doing a fairly good job of cleaning those out. The Queens also getting taken out, stopping the injects is paramount to making sure it works well. A couple of units also pushing in towards the fourth will take out 2 Infestors. That in itself is very, very frustrating. The drop in the main has got cleaned out. The drop at the fourth base doing some really nice damage here. The drones are going down very, very quickly indeed. This is relentless pressure from this Terran, and as a Zerg, how do you break this? Some Zergling run-bys would be good. This third base for ForGG is completely undefended, but there's just no time to do that when you're constantly having to defend everywhere. There's so many drones getting taken out, 27 already down. If we look at the worker count, ForGG ahead by 1. When you take into account the mules he's got, that is just oh so helpful, putting his income very, very nice. Wave 2 of the push is coming across, a nice little supply advantage here. Tefel is in really a lot of trouble. He's flooding units as fast as he can. He's getting his hive down, but at 15 minutes, that is quite a late hive, especially if he's wanting to go into ultras. You want to get those usually a lot sooner. But as so much of his time and attention has been trying to clean this up, some fungal growths are going down. With a lot less of this fourth hatchery, there are major problems now for the Zerg player. He's on equal basis as the Terran, his work count a lot lower, and as we can see, upgrade wise as well, he is just matching that over his opponent. +2 carapace is done. That's up against 1/1 upgrades for the infantry. The tank doing a nice little bit of damage behind a very low tank count, only 2 with this army, so that's something that ForGG does very, very nicely, just being a very mobile, drop-heavy player. And this sort of mass dropping is very awkward, especially with boost medevacs when you can just get back out of there. Could really love to see Tefel do something to try and deal with those medevacs, because if you shut that down, I'm not sure how comfortable ForGG would be. And it's exactly how, oh, I know, I nearly gave a spoiler there, but I'm just going to say that certain Zerg players in the TvZ UK Masters in Group 1, some who may be from Scotland and unsigned, did very, very well by denying these drops incredibly easily with Mutalisks. So that's a game that when it gets uploaded to the TvZ UK Masters YouTube, you should check out, because it was awesome. Now, this double drop has been scouted, but there is a Doom drop coming into the third base. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of units. In they come. The drop is now coming down. There's tanks in there as well. A quick little fungal growth goes off, but slightly prematurely. Meanwhile, the drop in the main is also doing some nice damage. The Queen getting focused, some Infestors coming over. The push coming in to deny the fourth. It does not get cancelled. The third base is absolutely getting picked apart. Where are all the units? They're trying to flood back, but just such a good position. The siege tank in an amazing spot. The main base is getting pretty well destroyed, and there goes the GG. And ForGG is the winner. So I hope you all enjoyed that game. If you did, remember, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. I'm Madals. I'll see you all tomorrow for yet another new cast. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.